everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative. How are you guys doing this weekend? Hope you're doing all right. Just to kind of put this out there, because I keep it all 100, and that's just the way it is. Today I ain't doing too well. If anyone knows, and I'm not scared to I'm not scared to say I suffer from pancreatitis, and yeah, my pancreas has decided today to kick my backside. So at the moment, I'm, I'm slightly high on some medication, morphine to be more specific. However, I'm all right at the moment. Everything's fine. I kind of debated whether or not I should actually do today's stream, but then I thought, you know what? It's way too important. So here I am. Let's go. So with that out of the way, what are you guys saying? Hello, 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 everyone. So, firstly, let me put my comment down here. So, what are we doing today? What is the purpose? Why have I not basically cancelled today's stream? Because my pancreas is kicking my backside. A very, very important one, guys. We are fundraising. Yes, for the Ukrainian army to kick some Russian army backside, Putin's backside, get them back over at Russian border where they belong, and then some. The link is in the pinned comment right at the top of the chat. Where does the money go? It is going direct, guys, to literally the National Bank of Ukraine. Yes, this is all official. The money ain't coming to me and then I'm passing it over to National Bank of Ukraine. Oh no, it's going direct to the guys. So again, the link is on the pinned comment right at the top of the chat if you're able to spare a couple of bucks. So in regards to this, it goes straight for the Ukraine Armed Forces. You can see it there. You can put in any amount. The National Bank of Ukraine has decided to open a special fundraising account to support the armed forces of Ukraine. This is all legit. I double checked with Ilya from This Works. And he's saying it looks legit. That'll do for me. But you can see here all the necessary logos are there. You also have different account information for, let's say, US dollar remittances, euro remittances, British pound remittances, so on and so forth. So yeah, this is all legit. National Bank of Ukraine has opened up a special account to raise money for the Ukraine Armed Forces. They desperately, desperately need it, especially against the Russian Armed Forces as it is at the moment. So anything that you can do to spare a couple of bucks, again, the link is in the pinned comment right at the top of the chat. Click on it. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, at the moment, as of today, because they're updating regularly in terms of how this fundraising is going on, more than 10.1 billion Ukrainian currency money has been raised for the army and the humanitarian aid. Now, 10.1 billion, guys, is a hell of a lot. I wouldn't sniff at 10.1 billion, don't get me wrong. But for all-out war against Russia, dudes, that is a drop in the ocean. They need a heck of a lot more. So let's see what we can do. With that being said, before we jump in, let's see who else is in the chat. Sarah Lynn, hey up, Sarah Lynn. Thank you very much for joining us. She says, if Putin is bad, the USA has got to be held accountable. We, including me, are responsible for millions of families passing away throughout the past couple of decades from our tax dollars. I agree. In regards to the Afghanistan and the Iraq conflict, absolutely. Sarah Lynn says the USA drops an average of 42 boom booms and projectiles per day. Yeah. We're not. This is a thing, right? No one's innocent. Every country has got blood on their hands in one way or another. I absolutely agree with that. However, today I'm focused on the immediate situation, which is the Ukrainian-Russia war, and helping the Ukrainians as much as I can from my little corner of the internet, raise a little bit of awareness of the National Bank of Ukraine and their link to help the Ukrainian armed forces, where you can donate through them and whatnot. It'll only be a small gesture. I understand that it's not it's gonna be, world earth-shattering kind of changing, but I'm just doing what I can given the situation at the moment. Otherwise, I just feel completely helpless. It's awful. Jane says, huge mess in Europe right now, so awful what's happening. I can only hope and pray peace is back once more. Yeah, and soon. Celica Girl says, hi everyone. Hey up, Celica Girl. How's it going? Glory says, good morning all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And Will is in the house. Hey up, Will. How's it going, my friend? Hope you're doing all right. Flying Binky says a really, really good point. They say if you book an Airbnb in Ukraine, it'll go directly to the population. Obviously mention that you're not coming, yeah. But you can book from €15 and Airbnb does not charge any service costs. Yeah, I'd heard that was going on, which is another really, really, really good way of being able to donate money to Ukraine, but it go directly to the Ukrainians themselves, for like humanitarian needs and whatnot. So that's definitely a good way of doing it. Be careful though, because I've heard that there are now a couple of scams on there, which is evil of the scammers, to be fair. But there we go. Candy's recovery journey. Hey up, Candy, how's it going? Yeah, 14 likes so far. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you haven't done so already, do subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Help our community go even bigger so that when we do important streams like this, the bigger the community, the more eyeballs get to see these kinds of really, really important streams to try and get the word out of something that's completely urgent for people to know, i.e., in my opinion, link comment right at the top of the chat, a link for the National Bank of Ukraine where you can literally donate directly to the Ukrainian army to help the Ukrainians basically kick some Russian and Putin. But so there we go. What else are you guys saying? Oh, Kira Emily investigates. Hey y'all, hey up Kira Emily, how's it going, lass? Mandy Goff in the house. Hi everyone. Hey up, Mandy. Jane says Steph's theme music is so good. Oh well, thank you. I listened to a lot of tracks before I found that one, and I thought, oh yeah, that's for me. Danny Scales in the house. Scales in the house. Hey up, mate. Alicia Smith. Hey up, Alicia. And oh my goodness, Linda Ford. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. For becoming a member. Really, really appreciate your face there. Oh, sorry, I don't know what just happened there. Really, really appreciate your face. Thank you so much for becoming a Alter Nerd tribe leader. You now have access to the exclusive emojis, the badges, exclusive videos that I put on from time to time. And also as well, once a month, we do an Alter Leader Summit. Yes, Nerd Leader Summit only, which the next summit will be coming up in the next week or so. So do keep an eye out as I announce the March summit just for leaders only. We play games, we hang out, we chat, you call in, we have fun. It's all good. So Linda, thank you so much for becoming a leader. I really, really appreciate your support, hon. I would appreciate you guys' support more if you can. Spare a couple of bucks. The link's at the top to donate to the Ukrainian National Bank that helps directly the Ukrainian army to kick some Ukrainian butt. Sorry, Ukrainian butt. To kick some Russian butt. Oh my goodness. My head's all over the place. Again, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm in a bit of pain at the moment. I've had to take some medication. So please bear with this kind of mess that I'm having to deal with at the moment. Okay. And Danny Scales with a $1.99 super chat. Hey you. Well, hey up, Danny. Thank you so much for the donation. But to be fair, I mean, entirely up to you what you guys do with your money. Don't get me wrong. I would never, ever, ever tell you what to do. But if you are considering donating for this stream, I would rather, where possible, the link at the top of the there we go. The link at the top of the chat. If you could spare a couple of bucks for the Ukrainian army to kick some Russian butt, that would be awesome. But Danny Scales, I definitely appreciate your super chat. Thank you ever, ever, ever so much, my friend. Who else is in the chat? Hey, Rain. Hello, hey, Rain. How's it going? Eve Crowley, I'm really surprised you all would fall for the propaganda. This is organised by the global elites, aka Cabal, aka Rothschild, aka Rockefellers, aka Bilderberg. Most of the footage is from other wars. Let's agree to disagree on that one. Moving swiftly on. Lexi, aka Mermaid. Hey, Steph. Hey up, Lexi, aka Mermaid. How's it going? Julia Land in the house. Hey up, Julia. Suzanne Scott. Hi, Steph. Hey up, Suzanne. Shelley says, hope you feel better soon, Steph. Yeah, it's usually like, generally, on average, it's like 24, 48 hours until it starts to die down. Usually how these pancreas attacks usually last. Usually. So, yeah, I'll be right. I'll just take some more morphine just to kick its backside. That's my life. What else are you guys saying? Isholacost, what up? Hey up, Isholacost, how's it going, my friend? One of the OGs on the channel. Gunner Boy, hey Steph from Arizona. Hey up, Gunner Boy from Yorkshire. How do? Gene Rick in the house. Hey up, Gene Rick, how's it going? Hope you're doing all right. Who else is in the house? Let's have a look. Can everyone see me at the moment? Yeah, it's still. Where is that happening? Sorry, I thought something happened there, but it still looks like we're streaming at the moment. So let me know in the chat if there's any issues, okay? But who else is here? Linda Ford, right, Steph? Great job. Thank you. Girls Got Soul. Hey, yeah. Hey up, Girls Got Soul. How's it going, hon? Definitely follow Ilya on Instagram. Such a wonderful, wonderful dude. I've been speaking to him a lot in the DMs about the conflict. He's extremely, extremely knowledgeable. Lou Lawrence, I've liked and shared this so more people can see. Thank you so much, Lou Lawrence. Yes, if you cannot donate, absolutely fair enough. Liking and sharing this video so that more eyeballs can actually know that there's this link that they can actually donate directly to the National Bank of Ukraine that's going to help the Ukrainian army is going to be absolutely essential because there's a lot of fundraisers at the moment for the Ukrainian army, but the majority of them will only accept cryptocurrency. Now, not a lot of people still know about cryptocurrency or how it works, or not a lot of people even have cryptocurrency in the first place. You know what I mean? So I really, really did my research to find somewhere that was legitimate and that would actually just accept cold hard freaking cash. Ukrainian bank, National Ukrainian Bank, completely opened up and was like, yeah, we got you all. So yeah, thank you very much, Lou Lawrence. So again, if you can't donate a couple of bucks, absolutely fair enough. Next best thing you can do, just like and share this video. Get it into the algorithm so we can share this link so other people get the chance to know that there is somewhere they can donate just cold hard cash money to help the Ukrainian army. Very, 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 very important. Linda Ford says, yep, we sent lots of emergency supplies through Gremlin to Poland. Brilliant. A lot of humanitarian aid going on at the moment that's been mobilized for Ukraine, which is wonderful to see given the circumstances. Definitely, let's help Ukraine do what we can. Rachel Wolf, hey up, Rachel. Glad you still decided to do the live. Bless you and much love. Yeah, I'm glad I decided to still do the live as well because it's more important to get it done. Leeds, hi all. Hey up, Leeds. How's it going, dude? Yes. I don't live there anymore, but that is my hometown. I support Leeds United through thick and freaking thin. pretty much thin at the moment, to be fair, but we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Everything will be fine. We're good. We're Gucci. I hope. But hey up, Leeds. How's it going? Proud to be a Leeds lass. What can I say? Will Morris, hey up, Steph. Hope you feel better soon. Hey up, Will. I'll be reading. Don't worry about it, mate. What else are you guys saying? Glory says Ukraine and their families need our help. Absolutely. Again, I'm probably going to be a broken record here, but it's so important. If you can spare a couple of bucks, the link is literally pinned at the top of the chat. You can donate to the National Bank of Ukraine. They've got a special account open that helps the Ukrainian army kick some Russian and Putin butt. Who doesn't want that, right? So if you can spare just even a couple of bucks, couple of pound, whatever it is, whatever your denomination when it comes to currency, get onto that link. Jane says, I saw on your Twitter about a certain airline from here in the UK, you had trouble with their hotel. Not exactly. So I'm going to Vegas end of April. I've booked it all. I've paid for it all through British Airways, who had an offer on, like, if you booked with them, both their flight and the hotel, you got like a lot of money off, which to be fair, it was a really good deal, right? But now I want to change the hotel, which is easy to do in theory. However, trying to get through to British Airways at the moment is an absolute nightmare because there's literally no one there. They just turn around and say, we're busy at the moment, and then hang up on you. So they're really, really good at taking your money, but then when you want to just change something and contact their customer service, they don't want to know. They really, really don't want to know. So in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, British Airways can go get a freaking cactus, lace it with the hottest chili oil imaginable, and shove it up where the sun don't shine, because I definitely won't be using them again. It's absolutely ridiculous trying to get through to them at the moment. It's not the end of the world. If I can't change hotels, absolutely fair enough, but it would make it easier. Do you know what I mean? Ugh. Anyway, ran over for now. Ariana, hey up, Ariana, how's it going, hon? What else are you guys saying? See, Jean says they need so much money to help rebuild after this. Also, they will do, but at the moment, it's like, what's the main priority at the moment? And the main priority at the moment, in my opinion, conspiracy theory or whatever, is kicking some Russian and Putin military butt and getting them back over the border where they sodding belong, right? So that to me is like the most immediate kind of thing that needs to be dealt with. Afterwards, though, hell yeah, they will need the world's help to rebuild. And Zelensky's a freaking hero. And I've heard some call him like the Churchill of our times, Winston Churchill of our times. And I'll tell you something, I wouldn't disagree. I really, really wouldn't. What else are you guys saying? Create with Brilly. Hey everyone. Hey up, Create with Brilly. How's it going, lass? Candy's saying that she's having some fish and chips. I'm well jealous right now. Jane, yes, I know. My team Liverpool beat Leeds a few weeks ago. Hee. Well, yeah, congratulations. All right. We've just got a few footballers that are injured at the moment. That's all it is. Oh, we had to let Marcelo Bielsa go, though, which is a shame. There we go. What else are you guys saying? And see, Sunday energizing with Steph and the Alter Nerd Monkey Gas community. Sunday's my favorite day now because of you guys. Came in a couple of minutes late. Feel better, Steph. You're so brave to be with us. Oh, well, thank you, Ansi. We really appreciate that. Okay, then. So, with that being said, just to kind of remind you guys, the link is literally at the top of the live chat. If you could spare a couple of bucks, click on that link, donate to the National Bank of Ukraine, and raise funds. Literally, it's there. Raise funds for Ukraine's armed forces. Let's help them kick some Russian army Putin butt. They need that at the moment, guys. With that being said, at the same time, let's expose some of Putin's war crimes, because Putin's turning around and saying, no, we we're not attacking civilians. We're not doing anything like that. Exhibit freaking A. Exhibit freaking A. Oh, so Russian attacks halt plans to evacuate the Ukrainian civilians. So there was a second attempt today to evacuate civilians from a besieged city in southern Ukraine, which has collapsed. So what's happened? Now, President Vladimir Putin turned the blame for the war back on Ukraine and said Moscow's invasion could be halted only if Kiev ceases hostilities. Over our dead bodies, right? No freaking way. More important than ever to donate in that link on the top of the chat there, if you can. So food, water, medicine, and almost all of the supplies were in desperate short supply in the port city of Mariupol, where Russian and Ukrainian forces had agreed to an 11-hour ceasefire that would allow civilians and the wounded to be evacuated. But Russian attacks quickly closed the humanitarian corridor, Ukrainian officials said. So, you know, they get to an agreement where they say, okay, there's an 11-hour window, we ain't going to do anything, let the wounded, let the civilians flee, and then we'll fight on, right? Ukrainians keep to it. Russians turn around and be like, do you know what? We had our fingers crossed all along. Psych! Boom, 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 boom. And so then that corridor quickly closes and no one could go anywhere. And the civilians and the wounded and whatnot can't escape. Oh, but Putin's not attacking civilians. Oh, no. He's only attacking military installations in Ukraine. Yeah, okay. So, there can be no green corridors because only the sick brain of the Russians decides when to start shooting at whom, Interior Ministry advisor Anton Gerashenko said on Telegram. The news dashed hopes that more people could escape the fighting in Ukraine, where Russia's plan to quickly overrun the country has been stymied by fierce resistance. Booyah! Russia has made significant advances in southern Ukraine and along the coast, but many of its efforts have become stalled, including an immense military convoy that's been almost motionless for days north of Kiev. A Ukrainian president, the hero of our time, Volodymyr Zelensky, rallied his people to remain defiant, especially those in cities that Russian soldiers have entered. He says, you should take to the streets, you should fight, he said Saturday on Ukrainian television. It is necessary to go out and drive this evil out of our cities from our land. Zelensky also asked the US and NATO countries to send more warplanes to Ukraine, though that idea is complicated by questions about which countries would provide the aircraft and how those countries would replace the planes. The war, now in its 11th day, has caused 1.5 million people to flee the country. The head of the UN Refugee Agency called the exodus the fastest growing refugee crisis in Europe since World War II. As he has often done, evil Putin has blamed Ukraine for the war, telling Turkish President Erdogan on Sunday that Kiev needs to stop all hostilities and fulfill the well-known demands of Russia. Basically turning round and like dropping trousers and be like, yeah, we surrender. No. In my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, you don't surrender to an evil dude like that. No. You carry on fighting and you resist. You do not submit to an evil POS like that. No way in hell. No way in hell. You know what I mean? This is ridiculous what he's asking. It's ridiculous what Putin is asking Ukraine to do. Ridiculous. Ukraine did nothing. They were a peaceful country. They did not attack Russia. And if anything, it was Russia that was the freaking aggressor even before this by taking over freaking Crimea. And then a couple of states that was east near the border of Russia. Oh, but Ukraine's the aggressor, not Russia. Putin is out of his damn mind. He really is. Now, those demands include what Putin has called basically that of Ukraine, which he falsely claims is led by neo-evil people intent on undermining Russia, which is absolutely untrue. This is propaganda at its freaking worst and evil. Putin also told Erdogan he hoped Ukraine would show a more constructive approach to talks, fully taking into account the emerging realities. A third round of Russia-Ukraine negotiations is scheduled for Monday. So basically, the only constructive reality that Putin can think of is, well, the only constructive reality is that Ukraine basically submits and agrees to everything that we're demanding without Russia giving anything in return whatsoever. No, 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 no. 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 Ukraine, Zelensky is right to fight this all the freaking way and not submitting at all. And as far as I'm concerned, Putin should be freaking arrested and should be brought to The Hague and done as a war criminal. No two ways about that. Putin and French President Emmanuel Macron, who, I'm sorry if you're French, but he's useless, spoke Sunday about the nuclear situation in Ukraine, which has 15 nuclear power plants and was the scene of the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster. The men agreed in principle to a dialogue involving Russia, Ukraine, and the UN's atomic watchdog, according to a French official who spoke on condition of anonymity. In line with the presidency's practices, potential talks on the issue are to be organised in the coming days. Putin also blamed the fire last week at the nuclear plant, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, which Ukrainian officials said was caused by Russian attackers on a provocation organised by Ukrainian radicals. Like, he completely spins this. Let's not forget, Putin invaded freaking Ukraine. Putin started this mess. Putin started this war. Putin started this bloodshed. Anything that happens, it's all on Putin's hands. All the blood is on Putin's hands. Everything. Nothing can be blamed on the Ukrainians because all they're freaking doing is just defending their freedom, defending their right to their own country. Simple as that. The gall of this evil mofo to be turning around and trying to blame anything on the Ukrainians is absolutely insane. Attempts to shift responsibility for this incident onto the Russian military are part of a cynical propaganda campaign, apparently. International leaders, as well as Pope Francis, appealed to Putin to negotiate. In a highly unusual move, the Pope said he had dispatched 2 cardinals to Ukraine, saying the Vatican would do everything it could to end the conflict, which is near here nor there. That's, to me, not going to do much at all. I can tell you that right now. In Ukraine, rivers of blood and tears are flowing, the pontiff said in his traditional Sunday blessing. This is not just a military operation, but a war that sows death, destruction, and misery. This is not a military operation at all. This is a full-on invasion. Invasion of a peaceful country that is independent, that is sovereign, for no good reason whatsoever. Calling it a military operation, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, gives it some sort of legitimacy. And I just don't believe that at all, that any of this is legitimate. So for me, shouldn't be called a military operation. It should be called a freaking invasion. Because that is what it is. Maybe I'm arguing over semantics. Who knows? But there we go. After the ceasefire in Mariupol failed to hold Saturday, Russian forces intensified their shelling of the city and dropped massive booms on residential areas of Chernihiv, a city north of Kiev, Ukrainian officials said. The handful of residents who managed to flee Mariupol before the humanitarian corridor closed said the city of 430,000 had been devastated. Yet, again, Putin says he's only targeting Ukrainian military installations. Yeah, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. We saw everything. Houses burning, all the people sitting in basements, said Yelena Zamay, who fled to one of the self-proclaimed republics in eastern Ukraine held by pro-Russian separatists. No communication, no water, no gas, no light, no water. There was nothing. British military officials compared Russia's tactics to those Moscow used in Chechnya and Syria, where surrounded cities were pulverized by airstrikes and artillery. This is likely to represent an effort to break Ukrainian morale, the UK Ministry of Defence said. Zelensky reiterated a request for foreign protectors to impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine, which NATO so far has ruled out because of concerns such an action would lead to a far wider war. And that's the thing, right? You've got to kind of weigh it up. If a no-fly zone is imposed, the situation gets worse quickly. And that cannot happen at the moment. And Ilya's right on this one. All that NATO and the countries can do is containment. Containing the war within Ukraine so it doesn't spread, but helping Ukraine as much as possible to fight off the Russian invaders and kick some Russian army Putin butt, right? Otherwise, if not, then it is World War III. And no one wants that. No one wants World War III. So introducing this no-fly zone would be a surefire way that World War III would start. And I'm just kind of explaining this in the most basic terms that I can possible, right? Without going into all the logistics of it. So I understand why they're not imposing the no-fly zone, and I understand why NATO is refusing to provide any direct assistance to Ukraine as a non-NATO member, because if they did, yeah, that could start World War III as well. Only Article 5, if Article 5 is activated, will NATO go in. Until then, no chance. They're going to just be all over the plan of containment, but trying to give the Ukrainians as much weaponry, as much kind of weaponry assistance as possible, giving the weapons into the Ukrainians' hands. More of that so that they can try and fend off the Russians themselves. But, you know, us providing them with the weapons and the funds for them to do that. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Which is another reason, which is the main reason why I'm doing this stream today, to help in our little small way that we can with our community. The link is at the top of the live chat, that you can donate money to literally the official National Bank of Ukraine to raise money for the Ukraine Armed Forces. So if you could spare a couple of bucks to help fund, you know, the army so that they can basically continue to kick some Russian and Putin butt and get them back over the border where they bloody well belong. So yeah, there's that. Going back to this though. So Zelensky said Sunday in a video address, or today, the world is strong enough to close our skies. He doesn't know what he's asking there, in my opinion. The day before, Zelensky pleaded with American lawmakers in a video call to help get more warplanes to Ukraine. US officials say Washington is discussing ways to get the planes to Ukraine in a complex scenario that would include sending American-made F-16s to former Soviet bloc nations, particularly Poland, that are now members of NATO. These countries would then send Ukraine their own Soviet-era MiGs, which Ukrainian pilots are trained to fly. But because of production backlogs on the US warplanes, the Eastern European nations would essentially have to give their MiGs to Ukrainians and accept US promises that they would get the F-16s as soon as that was possible. The situation is further complicated because the next shipment of F-16s is destined for Taiwan, and the US Congress would be reluctant to delay those deliveries because of that situation going on with China at the moment. And you can bet your bottom dollar that China at the moment is really watching closely in terms of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Because my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, China may follow suit and go more aggressive with Taiwan and do something similar. Watch it. The death toll remains lost in the fog of war, with the UN saying it's confirmed just a few hundred civilian deaths, but also warning that the number is a vast undercount. Olieski Arestovich, an advisor to Zelensky, said Ukrainian officials and international humanitarian organizations were working with Russia through intermediaries to establish humanitarian corridors from Bucha and Hostomel, which are Kiev suburbs, where there has been heavy fighting. Ukraine's military is greatly outmatched by Russia's, but its professional and volunteer forces have fought back with fierce tenacity. In Kiev, volunteers lined up Saturday to join the military. Even in cities that have fallen, there were signs of resistance, which again makes it even more important if you can spare a couple of bucks to help the Ukrainian army and fund them. Please do so. The link is literally at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. Onlookers in Chernihiv cheered as they watched a Russian military plane fall from the sky and crash. According to video released by the Ukrainian government, in Kherson, hundreds of protesters waved blue and yellow Ukrainian flags and shouted, "Go home." Russia, though, has made significant advances in southern Ukraine as it seeks to block access to the Sea of Azov. Capturing Mariupol could allow Moscow to establish a land corridor to Crimea, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014, in a move that most other countries considered illegal. The West has broadly backed Ukraine, offered aid and weapon shipments, and slapping Russia with vast sanctions. But apparently they're discussing more sanctions at the moment, which I just say load them all up. I don't think the sanctions will do much to Putin, but if you check the news, a lot of the oligarchs and Russian billion trillionaires at the moment are sounding off publicly and they're not liking it. And so Ilya doesn't agree with me on this one. However, maybe it's my naivety, to be fair, and I'm all for, like, you know, recognizing that. But I think that to a certain degree, putting financial pressure on those that are around Putin that are that are like proper like wealthy dudes, right? There might be a coup. Might turn on him and remove him from power. Because at the end of the day, when you're a billionaire, and all of a sudden you don't have access to your money and all this lot, that's gotta hurt, right? And if there's one person in the way of you getting access to all your billions, you might be considering getting them out of your way in one way or another. Maybe. Who knows? So I kind of hope the sanctions would potentially start a coup to remove Putin from power by those billionaires that have been hit by the sanctions, but we'll see on that one. What do you guys think of the chat to that little theory of mine? US Secretary of State Antony Blinken spent the weekend visiting NATO member nations in Eastern Europe that have taken in refugees from Ukraine. In Moldova on Sunday, he pledged support for the Western leading former Soviet republic that is warily watching Russia's moves in Ukraine. The World Health Organization on Sunday condemned the attacks on healthcare workers in Ukraine. Again, another war crime, but again, Putin saying he ain't targeting civilians. BS. Saying it verified at least 6 such attacks that have killed 6 people and wounded 11 others. Attacks on healthcare workers are a violation of international humanitarian law. The Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said on Twitter, which is right. The UN said it would increase its humanitarian operations both inside and outside of Ukraine, and the Security Council scheduled a meeting for Monday on the worsening situation. The UN World Food Programme has warned of an impending hunger crisis in Ukraine. A major global wheat supplier saying millions will need food aid immediately. So we've just gone through the first article, and already all over that, there are war crimes committed by Putin. Yes. The dude turns around and says, I'm only targeting Ukrainian military installations and nothing else. Quite clearly that is not the case. And that's not propaganda. It's freaking there in black and white. You see the pictures. You see the devastation. The people that are injured are not in military garb. No, they're in normal civilian clothes. They are not military, but they are being targeted. You are seeing literally buildings that are apartments completely destroyed. They're not military buildings. Yet again, Putin says, I'm not targeting civilians, I'm just targeting the military. Complete BS. Which, again, I'm going to say this a lot during this stream. If you can spare a couple of bucks, the link is at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. if you can, donate to the Ukraine Armed Forces via the National Bank of Ukraine. Help the Ukrainian army kick some Russian Putin butt and get that Russian army back over the border where they freaking belong. If you can't afford to do that, then the next best thing, like this video, share this video so that more eyeballs can see this and see that there is a link where they can easily donate to help the Ukrainian army, because a lot of fundraisers at the moment, the majority of them that I could find, they're all cryptocurrency donations that they would just accept. But not a lot of people still at the moment are fluent in cryptocurrency, let alone they've got any. So I found somewhere where they just accept cold hard cash. Easy, simple, traditional. So yeah, you've got an easy route there to donate and help the Ukrainian army kick some Russian army Putin butt. If you're able to spare a couple of bucks. If not, please share this video out so more people have got eyeballs on that particular link. Next up, before we get there, let's see what you guys are saying. Yes, definitely, Will. If you wish to donate to the Ukrainian army, send your donation here. Thank you, Will. Jane says the word needs to be spread. Thanks for being a voice. The little voice that I am. Yes. Jean says, hit them where it hurts. Putin will start feeling the pressure when your people go to the ATM and can't get money. They will start getting worried and angry. Exactly. Squeezing the people financially around Putin in his inner circle. Hopefully that will then create an atmosphere where they then start turning against him and cause a coup, which then unseats him from his seat of power and overthrows him and does it that way. Do you know what I mean? Rachel says, important question, Steph. Is today the only day to donate? Will the link be left up for people to come back to? Oh, yeah. The link, it's in the chat, but it's also in the description bar below. If you're watching on the replay, it's there. So, yeah, you can come back to it whenever you want. It's absolutely fair enough. Lou Lawrence, if Russian civilians are beginning to struggle due to sanctions, blame your government. They're the ones responsible for making NATO enforce the sanctions. Hell freaking yes. Let's see, what else are you guys saying? Gaynor says, yes, Steph, I saw a list of all the sanctions and it's looking sick for Russia, which means the Russian people will suffer too. Yeah. But the thing is, right, and let's not get it twisted here, there's a lot of Russian people that are completely opposing Putin and his invasion. They're going out in the streets, the protesting, the screaming out against him, saying him to stop the war, stop the invasion. And what's happening? Putin and his thugs are literally beating him down, throwing him in jail, silencing anyone that speaks out against him for this invasion. It's sick. So for me, I don't blame the Russian people, because they're victims as well, just in another way because of Putin. Any time they oppose a decision on him, they get silenced by him. Do you see where I'm coming from? They're not on the same victim level as Ukrainians, don't get me wrong, and don't get it twisted, guys. But I suppose what I'm trying to say in a really, really bad way is the only people I blame is Putin and the Kremlin, the government. The people of Russia, no. If that makes sense. Derek says, Russia was voted into the EU by no country, and now they use their veto rights in the EU vote. Kick those duckers out. Hell freaking yes. Kick them out. Let's see. Lou Lawrence says, I saw Anonymous are doing everything they can to bring Russia to its knees using technology. Oh, yeah. Anonymous are hacking their infrastructure. They're hacking everything. They're taking everything down. They've released information to the public in regards to Russian military and the Kremlin. And, oh, yeah, they're causing havoc all on their own, which is a good kind in this regard. I do support Anonymous in regards to their crusade against Russia here. Put it this way, you don't want to be on Anonymous's bad side. tell you that now. Yeah, I saw that Anonymous started attacking the Russian internet systems. It's a wonderful thing to see. Anonymous are a force for good. They're often vilified for some reason, and I don't understand that. They are a force for good. And this just proves it. Proves it, guys. Emma Jane says, I've seen videos of Chinese citizens rejoicing that Russia have gone into Ukraine as they're now looking forward to attacking Taiwan now. Exactly. This is the thing. There's a larger situation at play that no one in the media is actually discussing at the moment, and it's this. China believes that Taiwan is part of their country, right? They don't recognize Taiwan as an independent country, right? And so they're looking very closely at what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. And if Russia's successful, China's going to go for Taiwan in the same way. And the world ain't going to do shiz about it. What else are you guys saying? Anne C says, Putin is thinking like he's still living in the 80s. Propaganda can't stand because of 21st century ways of communicating. People aren't blind to live news now. Exactly. It's ridiculous. Him turning around and saying they're only attacking military installations. It's quite obvious that ain't the case. Quite freaking obvious. Danny Collins says, how long are we just going to watch? I think there'll be a tipping point sooner rather than later and probably won't end well for anyone. The other countries will be watching for as long as possible, unless Russia and Putin is mad enough to then start attacking an actual NATO country. Nothing else is going to happen other than now the status quo, which is sanctions, more sanctions, and military and humanitarian aid from every single country in the freaking world, pretty much, to try and help Ukraine. But that'll be it. That'll be it. Unless a NATO country is attacked, that'll be it. Nikki Bella in the house. Hey up, Nikki. How's it going? REC says, if you arm all the people and have the shooting at the shoulders, soldiers, this will happen. More weapons means worse war, just like when we were in Afghanistan and Iraq. Let's put it this way. The Russian military far outnumbers the Ukrainians military. And so if Ukrainian has a chance of being able to fend them off and have a chance of their freedom and their country sovereignty and integrity being restored, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, they need more weapons. It's as simple as that. Every single person that is willing in that country to fend off the Russians, it's as simple as that, in my opinion. And you guys can do that in many ways. One way in particular that you can do that is donating to the National Bank of Ukraine. They've opened up a special account where all the donations go into to help raise funds for the Ukraine Armed Forces. The link is in the top, the pinned link at the top of the live chat. If you are able to donate a couple of bucks or a couple of quid or whatever. What else are you guys saying? Just looking up. Exactly. Joanna C saying, yeah, it's hard for me to watch the news without crying. Fathers leaving their children at the border to go back fighting. It's awful, isn't it? It really, really is. Jane says he's such a bully, that Russian president. I agree. I definitely agree with that, in all honesty. He definitely is a bully. And a whole lot more that I can't really say. What else are you guys saying? Anne C says, Putin can't be this dumb. The whole planet, okay, sane countries are against him. Listen, when you've lost the support of the filthy rich oligarchs, it says a lot. Putin is not reading the room quite rightly. No, but he does have the support of China. and he has pretty much the support of India. So, yeah. I mean, if you forget India for one moment, he's got a powerful ally in China alone. So, yeah, he should read the damn room. But I think he's just gone insane. Absolutely insane. You know, like, the longer you're in power, the more that power then corrupts you. I think this is a prime example with Putin. Prime freaking example with Putin. But yeah. Jan Funk in the house. Hey up, Jan. How's it going, hon? Higgy's Moore. Hello, Higgy's Moore. Says, so upsetting what's happening in Ukraine. Yeah, it really is, isn't it? Ansi says, Kiev's hostilities. What planet is Moscow on? They invaded the country. The evilness of this dictator is endless. I just loathe him. Agree with that. See what else are you guys saying. All right, let me scroll a little bit down and get some more up to date from you. So Lou Lauren says, if you're struggling in Russia, stand up against your government. The Russian civilians could do a lot more damage to Putin than any military people. I agree, but it has to be done right. It has to be done en masse, like completely overrun the military. Where like the movie V for Vendetta, where the civilians rise up in the end, and there's so many of them that the military, they're outnumbered to the point where it's like we literally can't be doing anything. There's no point. Just let them freaking through at this stage. Got to be something like that, where they all rise up, so it completely overruns Putin, the military, and his freaking government. Otherwise, those that are rising up and are heroes that are doing so, don't get me wrong, it's very easy for Putin basically to turn around and just swat them down and silence them and just put them in jail for like 10 bloody years in freaking, I don't know, the furthest corner of the freaking earth that's totally isolated. It's untrue. That's what he does to those that do protest against him, that do rise against him publicly. And it's happening right now with all these demonstrations going on against Putin in Russia. That's what he's doing to his own people. But if enough people rise up that is completely out of this world, can't swat them all down, can he? You see where I'm coming from? So the people are standing up to the government. It's just not enough at the moment to completely overrun it. Definitely be careful on scams for the GoFundMe accounts. Definitely be careful of that. Make sure that you're only donating to those that are reputable. Absolutely. What else are you guys saying? Yeah, Janet Atkinson says just under 4,000 have been arrested for protest, I last heard. It's probably more than that, to be fair. Exactly. They get arrested for protesting. But if enough people rise up that they're not outnumbered, they won't get arrested because there's nothing they can do. They're literally outnumbered by the sheer amount of people that's protesting against them. They can't do shiz at that point. Needs every single man, woman, and freaking child to take to streets. They can't do anything then. Putin's government can't arrest their entire country civilians. The same would happen anywhere in the world. Well, he's making a good job of it at the moment. Let me put it that way. Must be so epic working in Anonymous. Imagine their meetings on WhatsApp. They wouldn't be meeting on WhatsApp, I can tell you that now. Janet Atkinson says, definitely agree, Steph. If Russia gets away, then it's China next. Yep. Lou Lawrence says, and this is basically what I was trying to say, but he's saying it in a better way. If all the Russian civilians together went against the Russian government, the government would be forced to take action and listen to their civilians, just like how strikes work. Yeah. And C says, in regards to the ending question, I agree with your answer in regards to a NATO country, but Friday was super scary in regards to a nuclear plant that caught fire. Yes, it was. Ilya had a really, really good point when we were talking, and it's not going to be, they're not going to use nuclear warheads. No chance. But by by capturing these nuclear plants, Russians could use the nuclear waste as, let's say, dirty boom booms. Ilya mentioned that to me. I was like, oh, bloody hell. Dude, that makes so much freaking sense. So, yeah. This is going to get worse before it gets better. Angela Carrington, what do you think the Queen would say, or the late Prince Philip? Well, we already know the Queen's stance on it. She's already donated a huge amount to the humanitarian cause in support of the Ukrainians. So, yeah, she's not amused. would be probably the apt terminology to describe the Queen's thoughts on Ukraine at the moment. Let's put it that way. Gaynor says, yes, India definitely support them. I saw an Indian news bulletin on YouTube and they were proper slating us in the UK, and the Americans don't like the West at all. Yeah, but then they like our aid money. And oh my goodness, Painting Cat donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you so, so much. And oh my goodness, let me open this up. It's a YouTube sticker. And oh, it's my favorite one. It's the ginger doggy. And he hugs the heart. And he goes like this. And then he stops. And then he hugs the heart. And he goes like this. And then he stops. Oh my goodness. That's so cute. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. I really, really do appreciate it. Painting Cat, for your support there. Oh, my nose is a little bit runny. Apologies. Okay, so Jane says power to the people. It's coming down to that. It really, really is. Karen Broderick. Hey up, Karen. She says, I can't see this war ending anytime soon. Putin is a vile human being and there's no reasoning with him. He's deaf and blind. Yeah. Either he believes his own rhetoric and believes his own propaganda, or he doesn't and he knows he's using lies and propaganda to justify his actions. And do you know what? Scaringly, I don't know which one it'd be with him. I really, really don't. Lou Lawrence says the majority of the Russian civilians need to stand up against him, not the minority. Exactly. Exactly. Jane says, do you think there'll be protests here in the UK about the situation in the Ukraine? There already has been. Pretty much every single day there's protests. Just Google it. Google where your nearest protest is going to happen. It's happening. Glory says, no one is talking about Russia building troops across from Alaska's shores right now, as they did with Ukraine for the past 7 months. Bloody hell, no way. I didn't even know that was happening. Would he strike on American shores? No. I mean, anything's possible given what's happening now, don't get me wrong, but nah. Unless he false flags it, but even then, against the Americans? Nah. Nah, I think he's just posturing there. Can't be anything more than that. No way. He definitely then has a death wish at that point. What else are you guys saying? Oh, Painting Cat just says sending you love. Oh, well, thank you. Really appreciate that. What else are you guys saying? Lou Lawrence says, in the beginning, I was scared to speak out to stand with Ukraine, but it's diabolical what the Russian government are doing. So here we are. Yeah. And you're an absolute freaking ledge to be speaking out against the Russian government to what they're doing in Ukraine. Because depending on where you are in the world, that could have severe implications for you, Lou. So just be careful, as you probably will know, and make sure you're safe as possible. If that's even can be achieved now, who knows? But yeah, again, guys, this ain't the Russian people. We need to be angry at Putin and his government, not the Russian people. Really, and that's a big distinction we need to kind of know. Candy says, "How are you holding up, Steph?" I'm alright at the moment. I'm probably going to be ending this stream earlier than usual, to be fair, but I'm okay at the moment. Just really important to have this stream. I've been looking for a while. I say a while, a fair few days for somewhere where I can kind of promote a link to help the Ukrainian army, but a link where, you can just donate money and there's no cryptocurrency or anything like that involved. And so, yeah, now that I finally found one, I'm not going to postpone it. I'm doing the stream today. Jennifer Mackay says, I'm legit concerned of the little angry man with the finger on the nuclear button. Me too. Me too. Also as well, I see something. Where is that? Ah, okay. So Painting Cat says, thank you for doing this for Ukraine, Steph. Oh, well, thank you very much for your support. And I presume you have already done so already. Like, share this video in particular, get it out in the algorithm so that more people know the existence of this link where they can donate directly to the National Bank of Ukraine to help the Ukrainian army kick some Russian and Putin butt. That's just how we roll. What else are you guys saying? Angela Carrington says China are going for Taiwan next. Yep, they're just watching to see how this all plays out with Russia. But yeah, if it goes in Russia's favor, yeah, they're still going for Taiwan next. Ratnik says Putin can send his entire military into Alaska and they get wiped out in one day. Fair enough. Fair enough, right? I can imagine that happening. That's why I'm saying it would be inconceivable for him to even do that. I just think it's him just posturing. That's all it is. Karen said, I heard on Sky News that the Queen made a significant donation to the humanitarian aid. Yes, she did. And the whole royal family, the main ones anyway, have spoken out against Russia and saying that they support Ukraine. So yeah, the whole royal, and that's a big thing, guys. You never hear the royal family ever speak out on anything political, right? But for them to even turn around and say, yeah, we're standing with Ukraine, like, that's a big, massive thing for our family to do, for our royal family to do. Like, I can't even overstate it. That's massive. That's like earth-changing for them to come out with something like that publicly. Derek says America is a NATO member, so no NATO members will be attacked without all the NATO countries will respond in unison. Exactly. So it's not just him. Even if Putin did attack Alaska, let's say, he's not just attacking America, he's attacking every single NATO country that would then descend on him and completely pulverize his backside until there was no more. So I really, really can't see him doing it. I really, really can't. No way. Ah, Stephen says we'll definitely spare some pounds. Yay! The link is in the pinned comment right at the top to donate to the Ukrainian National Bank to help the armed forces. There's a special account where you can donate to that goes to the forces. Let's just see what you guys saying. Derek says support Ukraine by sending missiles per airmail to the Kremlin. Yeah, yeah. Or better yet, the link in the pinned comment. Donate a couple of bucks, help out the Ukrainian army, help them kick Russian butt instead, Russian army butt. Karen says, what worries me is that what if there's a strike too close to the border and it's within the borders of a NATO country and Russia say it's an accident, but obviously not. It's so scary. Yeah. The thing is, Article 5 is pretty much, you can't contest it. You know, attack a NATO country, you're attacking all of us, and we're going to come down and spray holy freaking hell on you. So, whether Russia deems it to be an accident or not, NATO will see through it and be like, yeah, that ain't an accident. That ain't an accident. You're just trying to push us. Do you know what? We're now pushing back more for. So, yeah. Emma Jane says, Putrid, I like that, still thinks he's in the KGB of the USSR pre the fall of the Iron Curtain. Yeah, he's definitely living in the past, but then, you know, he's written articles over the years and he's literally like voiced his wishes for the Soviet Union to be back, basically. Like, no two ways about it. He wants the Soviet Union back. And so this is his first step of getting it back. Mark my words, if he gets Ukraine, he's eyeing up other ex-Soviet Union countries next to do this too. So more important than ever that it starts and it freaking ends in Ukraine, one way or another. Rachel, up, Rachel. She says, thank you for being someone we can trust in order to help out. You're the best, Steph. Oh, well, thank you, Rachel. Really appreciate that. Susan says, how can anyone underestimate him at this point? I mean, look at what he did. He invaded and he's carved out a sovereign, peaceful country. Yes, however, someone that is not part of NATO. What we were talking about earlier on is him attacking Alaska. The Americans are part of NATO. Different kind of situation there in a way. Because he ain't just attacking America, he's attacking every single NATO member ally. So, kind of a different kettle of fish there, if that makes sense. Kevin says, Putin will go for Moldova next. They have no nukes and are not a NATO member. I can imagine that happening. I would also imagine that a lot of the ex-Soviet countries at the moment are looking to NATO and thinking, do you know what? We might just speed up our application process to NATO right now, which I think would be a freaking smart move. Fonfu says, for telling the truth about the war in Ukraine, one can get a sentence of up to 10 years in prison in Russia. Exactly. Putin does not freaking mess about. He's one of those evil dudes where he'll turn round and if you're speaking out against him, dude is probably going to silence you, beat you up and put you in prison for a shiz ton of time. He doesn't mess about. So yeah. What else are you guys saying? Susan M says, yeah, but we all know it's not an accident at this point. Just like he was supposed to cease fire and he didn't. He lied about that too. Exactly. Yeah. Hey up, Jacqueline. She says, I didn't get notified that you were live. Oh, bloody hell, ass. Make sure that your bell is turned to on for all notification to on. Failing that, follow me on my Twitter and Instagram at Stef The Alter Nerd. Whenever I go live or whenever I release a video, I literally announce it on there as well. So yeah, other than that, YouTube is YouTube. There we go. Karen says, we have a large deployment of British troops in Estonia on the borders. They've been there for about 2 weeks. Yep. They're ready just in case, basically. Emma Jane says there'll be an emergency NATO applications on their desks in the morning. Yeah, if they haven't got them already. But there we go. So, let's look at some other war crimes. Let's expose some other Putin's evil war crimes during this whole invasion. This is extremely sad. This was, beginning of it all. So there was a primary school girl amongst hundreds of civilians that were killed. So Ukraine's health ministry said at the time that 352 civilians, including 14 children, had been killed since the beginning of the Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This was at the time on the Monday, the 28th of February. That number will be much higher now. But Polina, she was about 9 or 10 years old. She was shot alongside her parents, according to Kiev's deputy mayor, she was killed. It also said again at the time of this article, 28th of February, that 1,684 people, including 116 children, had been wounded. The first fatality to be named was a 4th grade student from Kiev called Polina. She was in her final year of primary school. She and her parents were shot dead by a Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group, which opened fire on their family car. The city's deputy mayor, Volodymyr Bondarenko, said in a Facebook post. Polina's brother is receiving treatment at the children's hospital, and her sister is in intensive care at a second hospital. Now, we do have an update on the brother, which I'll get onto in a moment. Elsewhere, 7-year-old Elisa Hlans was killed in an attack that hit a kindergarten in the city of Okitra, about an hour's drive from the northeastern Ukrainian border. She was among 5 others that were killed when Russia launched an attack on the second day of the invasion. Prosecutor General Irina Venediktova said she was taken to hospital with serious injuries, but she sadly lost her life on Saturday. She said on social media that doctors were fighting to save the life of a second injured child above a picture with the message, "We need peace." An unnamed boy was also killed on the second day of the invasion in the small town of Chuyev in eastern Ukraine's Kharkiv region after shelling struck an apartment building. 10 Greek nationals died and 6 others were injured by Russian bombing near the Ukrainian city of Mariupol, Greece, that they said at the time. Greek Prime Minister tweeted, 10 innocent civilians of Greek origin were killed today by Russian airstrikes close to Mariupol. Stop the bombing now. The airstrikes took place on the outskirts of the villages of Sartana and Bujas, and a child was among the injured, according to Greece's foreign ministry. The foreign ministry condemned the airstrikes and urged Russia to stop the aerial bombings and attacks on civilians immediately. And so earlier this month, Greek foreign minister stressed the need to protect the Greek expatriate community in Ukraine. Russian forces advanced on Ukrainian cities with artillery and cruise missiles over the weekend at the time of this article, which was the 28th of February. But the capital of Kiev remains under Ukrainian control, which as of today's stream is still the case, thank goodness. More than 120,000 people, as of the time of this article, again, 28th of February, fled across the Ukrainian borders, and around 4 million may be forced from their homes by the conflict, marking the most serious refugee crisis in Europe since the collapse of Yugoslavia in the early 1990s. Now, again, Putin says, I'm only attacking the military Ukrainian installations and nothing else. Children have been killed. Innocent civilians have been killed because of Russian airstrikes, bombs, and soldiers. They are clearly not the army. If I scroll up here, this girl, Polina, right? Killed by the Russian army, by Putin. Does she freaking look like she's part of the freaking Ukrainian army? Does she? Because I tell you something, I don't think so. And the last I checked, Ukrainians, they don't really subscribe to the whole child soldiers philosophy. Let's put it that way, right? She don't look military to me. Her blood is on Putin's hands. Every single civilian's blood that is killed because of Putin, because of this invasion, is on his freaking hands. The whole freaking lot of it. She didn't look military to me. But again, Putin's only attacking military installations in Ukraine. Come again? Polina's 9, 10 years old. How do you freaking explain this? Oh, but there's more. So her younger brother, the article said at the time that he was in hospital. Well, he's died. And his blood is now on Putin's hands as well, amongst every other innocent civilian that has died because of Putin's invasion. Simple as that. So the brother's name was called Semyon. He was aged 5 and he died after being left in critical condition following him and his family being shot at by Russian forces while trying to flee Ukraine. Here he is. And again, I asked the same freaking question. He's 5 years old. Does he look like he's part of the Ukrainian military? Again, I ask this because at the end of the day, Putin's turning around and saying he's only attacking Ukrainian military bases. He look like he's part of the freaking Ukrainian armed forces. Because I tell you something, I don't think so. Oh, so the younger brother of the schoolgirl that we've just talked about has now passed away. 5-year-old Semyon was left fighting for his life along with his 13-year-old sister Sophia after their family attempted to flee the country, but he died on Wednesday, according to a family friend. As we know, as we've just said, Polina and the parents, Anton Kudrin and Svetlana Zaptyanska, I probably butchered that, I'm so sorry, were reportedly killed by Russian troops as the family were in a car trying to leave Kiev. Dude, they're trying to flee and they get killed. Oh. A picture of pink-haired Polina was shared on Wednesday by the deputy mayor of Kiev, Vladimir Bondarenko, who said her name was Polina. She studied in the 4th grade of school in Kiev. Her and her parents were shot by a Russian DRG, which is sabotage reconnaissance groups. Now, Semyon, the brother who's now passed away, who was killed, was receiving treatment at the Children's Hospital in Kiev and remained in critical condition for 72 hours before passing away. His older sister, Sophia, remains in intensive care at another hospital, unaware that her entire family has died. It's so sad. On Monday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said 16 children had been killed in the conflict. That figure is likely to have increased since. Amongst those children, a 6-year-old girl wearing a pink unicorn print pajamas was fatally wounded by shelling in Mariupol in southeast Ukraine on Sunday. A doctor who attempted to save the child's life said to a video journalist from Associated Press, "Show this to Putin, the eyes of this child and crying doctors." In an address to the European Parliament, President Zelensky said, "Again and again, President Putin is going to say that it's some kind of operation. We're hitting military infrastructure. But where are our children? What kind of military factories do they work at? What tanks are they going with?" Exactly. And this is why I'm saying time and time again, you look at the pictures of these kids. Do they look like they're in the freaking Ukrainian army? They're not. Their family's trying to flee. And the Russian army and Putin are just thinking like, yeah, you're not getting away that easily. Boom, boom, boom. Die, die, die. This is insane. Putin's turning around and saying he is not targeting military installations yet. Sorry, Putin's turning around and saying he is solely only targeting military installations, yet that is clearly not the case. He is committing war crimes. He is. And I implore you, if you can spare a couple of bucks, this is why I'm doing this stream, is to get the word out there. This link, it's at the top of the pinned comment right at the top of the live chat. It's also in the description bar below. If you can, donate to the official National Bank of Ukraine. They've opened up a special account where all the money, it's raising funds for the Ukraine Armed Forces. Let's basically financially try and help them where we can to kick some Russian army and Putin backside. Get them back over the border where they freaking belong and get them to stay there. Because at the end of the day, Putin's lying. He's not just targeting Ukraine military. He's targeting anything that's moving, really, at this point. Kids, no matter how young they are, don't matter. He is killing them. He is evil. He needs to be stopped. And in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, the best way of helping Ukrainian right now is sending them money to the army to help fund them so that they can last as long as they can to fight for their freedom and hopefully achieve it and beat these Russian invaders. Let's look at another example, yeah, of Putin's evil war crimes. This was just 2 days ago. So, families run for cover as Russian airstrikes hit Chernihiv. So, civilians in the northern Ukrainian city of Chernihiv have described being trapped under relentless shelling as Russia indiscriminately pounds residential neighborhoods there and in several other cities. Like I said, at this stage, he can say all he wants and bang that drum that he's only just attacking the Ukrainian military. That is not the freaking case, guys. It's not. Svetlana told the BBC, "We can hear the sounds right now of airstrikes nearby." Pardon me. There are no military targets here. There's only a cemetery, residential buildings, clinics, and a hospital. Why are they bombing us? Svetlana Adit said. Russia escalated its air campaign against Ukraine this week on Thursday and Friday, killing at least 47 civilians in Chernihiv, continuing to lay siege to residential areas in Mariupol, Borodyanka, and Kharkiv. Aerial attacks in Chernihiv destroyed high-rise apartment buildings and damaged a clinic and hospital, sending residents fleeing into the streets and to underground bunkers. And I'm telling you something, destroying a hospital, major freaking war crime. Putin needs to be arrested and he needs to answer to The Hague at this point. The International Criminal Court, the ICC, The Hague. He is a fully fledged freaking evil war criminal. Make no bones about it. An apartment building 500 meters from St. Valna's was destroyed on Thursday, she said. The building sits just 50 meters from a children's hospital where staff had taken children, including cancer patients, to a shelter between the two buildings, but were not able to create a sterile environment there and were struggling to evacuate the children. A charity worker, Sergei Zosimenko, supporting the hospital, told the BBC that the staff were in the process of attempting an evacuation. Images and video footage from Chernihiv, which is 90 miles, or which is 144 kilometers north of the capital of Kiev and home to about 300,000 people, showed indiscriminate destruction to residential areas, drawing immediate comparisons to the devastating Russian bombing campaigns against Grozny in the late 1990s and Aleppo in 2016. Chernihiv has reportedly been surrounded by Russian forces. Now, the picture that I'm about to show is not graphic. So, YouTube reviewer, this ain't graphic, all right? But there you go. Russian strikes have damaged or destroyed multiple residential buildings in Chernihiv. This is a photograph by the Territorial Defense Forces. Now, again, I ask a similar question. Does this look like a freaking Ukrainian military base? Not to me. The BBC verified the full names and exact locations of people it spoke to in Chernihiv and other cities under attacks, but is not publishing those details for safety reasons, which is, fair enough. Katya, a 22-year-old nurse in Chernihiv, said she'd been able to hear the sounds of continuous shelling throughout Friday morning. "I'm calling back now because I don't know if it'll be too late. I don't know if we'll survive," she said. "There is me, my mother, my grandma, and our neighbour, and we're all hiding in our house. At this very moment, I can hear the shelling. Local hospitals and schools are destroyed. Russians promise not to kill civilians, but they are killing. Exactly. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled. Putin is killing civilians, children. He is doing this. Here's the evidence. Larissa, a 52-year-old maths teacher, managed to escape alive with her husband, sister, and brother-in-law after their Chernihiv apartment building was hit in a direct strike. We were hiding in the staircase near our 6th-floor apartment, and we could hear planes flying overhead, and they sounded low, she said. Suddenly, there was a boom, and the whole building shook. We ran outside, and people were screaming. We could see that the missile went through our building and hit the next building. Again, I'm not showing anything that's graphic here, YouTuber, manual reviewer. This is just a building. But again, this is Larissa's apartment building that was hit. Again, does this building look like it's a freaking Ukrainian military base? Don't to me. Russia and Ukraine agreed on Thursday to the need for humanitarian corridors to help civilians escape from cities under siege, but residents in Chernihiv and in the southern port city of Mariupol told the BBC on Friday that there had been no significant break in the aerial bombardment to allow people to move, which basically is the whole thing of Russia said, yeah, we'll agree to corridors to allow people to escape, but then they go back on their word, and those corridors soon close or not even open in the first place because Russians just continue to bomb anyway. Evil! Evil Putin! Evil, evil, evil war criminal. He needs to be completely taken to The Hague and answer for his crimes. Shall we discuss more of Putin's war crimes? Yes, I think we shall. So, this was just before me starting this today's stream. I saw this article. This is from The Independent. Children among 3 civilians killed near Kiev while fleeing. So 3 people have allegedly been killed by Russian shelling whilst attempting to flee the town of Irpin, close to the Ukrainian capital. 2 were children from the same family, and they were killed after Russian mortar shells struck a damaged bridge while they were attempting to cross, according to various media reports. Irpin, located 16 miles northwest of Kiev, has been bombarded by artillery and airstrikes, which have caused heavy damage to residential buildings, roads, and bridges. Again, residential buildings, roads, and bridges, not military buildings, roads, and bridges. Residential. These are war crimes. Putin needs to answer to this. He cannot get away with doing this. It comes as Ukraine's top security official has said that Russia's war command has shifted its attention to the southern front in order to cut the country off from the Black Sea. He said that Kiev, Kharkiv, Mariupol, and Mykolaiv, I hope I pronounced that right, Chernihiv and Odessa remain strategically important, and that Russian troops plan to encircle the cities and block the Ukrainian armed forces from entering. So let me just refresh this and see if there's any there's updates. So the updates that we've got here. So 8 minutes ago, it was announced that Poland has already let in 1 million Ukrainians.
President Zelensky has repeatedly...
Sorry about that. Poland has already let in 1 million Ukrainians. UK only lets in 50, which we should hang our heads in shame. That is ridiculous. And damn right, the Home Office, so the UK basically, is under fire for only having issued 50 visas so far to allow Ukrainians into the UK. As the Independent Deputy Political Editor Rob Merrick points out, refugees accepted so far, Poland 1 million, UK 50, let that sink in. I'm so ashamed of our government right now not doing more for the refugees. This is ridiculous. Now, 24 minutes ago, US trying to get Polish fighter jets to Ukraine. So over in Washington, D.C., the US is working on a deal to give some of Poland's fighter jets to Ukraine. So what we said earlier on in regards to Poland donating some of its Soviet-era MiG planes to trade for the American-made F-16 jets. So they're still looking at sorting that out. Ukrainian mayor of Lviv says Putin is laughing over sanctions. Putin is, but those around him aren't. And I'm really, 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 really hoping that, how do I put this? those that are around him that are feeling the bite of the sanctions start a little coup and remove him from power. That's what I'm hoping. Whether that's realistic or not, I don't know, but it's what I'm hoping. Now, MPs to consider an economic crime bill amendment on Monday. So MPs have insisted the government's ticket to tackling the issue of Russian dirty money in the UK. So basically, this economic crime bill, they're looking at amending it to make it even harder for Russians to invest or use money in the UK or something along those lines. Fine. 45 minutes ago, update, 8 killed in Irpin attack near Kiev, not 3. Okay, so when we said it was 3 just a few moments ago, now they're saying it's 8 Ukrainian civilians. Again, war crime, Putin, evil, needs to be sent to the freaking Hague to answer for these war crimes. 8 Ukrainian civilians were killed by Russian troops today as they attempted to flee the suburb of the Ukraine's capital, Kiev, according to a local politician who was there. A family died. Alexander Markushian, the mayor of Irpin, said, "In front of my eyes, 2 small children and 2 adults died." He added, Russians had opened fire during an evacuation across a bridge. Initial reports had suggested 3 people were killed, including 2 children who were members of the same family. It's not immediately clear if the children that the mayor claimed he saw passed away were the same as the ones mentioned in these reports. Russia's warning countries against hosting Ukrainian aircrafts. Yeah, they can go do one. Calls grow to boycott Coca-Cola and McDonald's as they stay in Russia. What? Hey, it looks like I'll be changing my choice of drink there from Coca-Cola to freaking Pepsi or something. Well, no, not Pepsi, because Coca-Cola owns Pepsi as well. I'm going to have to think hard on this and what I'm going to replace Coca-Cola with. Bloody hell. On that note, calls have been mounting for a boycott of McDonald's, Coca-Cola and PepsiCo, as the companies have so far not joined the ranks of other major global brands in pulling their operations out of Russia. 3 Ukrainian supermarket chains announced they are removing Coca-Cola products from their store shelves, and the hashtags boycott Coca-Cola, boycott Pepsi and boycott McDonald's were trending on Twitter over the weekend as customers vowed to shun their products so long as they continue to do business with Russia. Hell yeah, I'm boycotting them right now. Coca-Cola can do a running flying jump. Coca-Cola is my favourite drink of choice because I don't drink alcohol, so it's like my kind of like little drink, I suppose. But I ain't doing Coca-Cola anymore. I'm definitely not doing McDonald's. If I want fast food, I'll just order from freaking Burger King. Perfect. Yeah, I'm boycotting those mofos. Dozens of big corporations, including Apple and Netflix, have already halted operations in Russia. So, yeah. TikTok suspends video uploads in Russia. Hey. So, Russia's proper getting cancelled here. Israel will try to mediate on Ukraine, even if prospects are poor. So, Israel's going to try and mediate. Russia will not listen to reason. Correction, Putin will not listen to reason, I don't think. Denmark to abandon using Russian gas. Boom! Mette Frederiksen, the Prime Minister of Denmark, has said her country will become independent of Russian gas following the invasion of Ukraine. That's big. That's massive. Now, if there was any kind of boycott that's really going to hurt Russia, that's it. That's it. Don't use their gas anymore. Bugger them all. So yeah, they're just a few updates in the last hour of us streaming of what's been going on. As you can appreciate, big, massive fluid situation on the ground. A lot happening every minute. But yeah, it's just, I'm really, really disappointed in Coca-Cola, PepsiCo and McDonald's not announcing, that they're going to cease operations in Russia. That's disgusting as far as I'm concerned. I'm absolutely appalled. I am, until they announce that they are boycotting Russia, basically. As far as I'm concerned, I am not drinking Coca-Cola anymore, and I am not ordering from McDonald's anymore. If I want to have fast food, I'll order from Burger King. To be fair, I prefer their chips. I prefer Burger King's chips over McDonald's chips, to be fair. The burgers are pretty much the same, really, to be fair, but hey, Burger King it is. I might just order a Burger King tomorrow for my lunch at work. Puts me to mind. I ain't had a Burger King for ages, to be fair, but there we go. But just to kind of remind you guys why I'm doing this stream. I'm doing this stream to basically get the word out for the National Bank of Ukraine. The link is either in the pinned comment right at the top of the chat or it's in the description bar below. National Bank of Ukraine has got a special account that you can donate to that helps raise funds for Ukraine's armed forces. They need the funds. They need everything that they can get to fight off the Russian invasion and kick some Russian army backside and some Putin backside at the same time. Get them back over the freaking border where they all belong. So if you can spare a couple of bucks, a couple of quid or whatever, please click on the link either in the pinned comment right at the top of the chat as I burp again, bloody hell, or in the link in the description bar below. Spare a couple of bucks if you can. If you cannot, that's absolutely fair enough and understandable. Next best thing you can do, just like this video and share this out so that many more people can have the awareness that this exists, that they can donate money to the Ukrainian army, and that this is a way of them doing it. Just, you know, liking and sharing this video just puts that word out there for many more people to know about this. At the moment, as we know, earlier on today, they announced more than 10 billion has been raised for the army and humanitarian aid through this particular link. They'll need a heck of a lot more. 10 billion is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I definitely wouldn't sniff at that. But for a war of this magnitude, they need a heck of a lot more. So anything that you can spare is going to help. It's really, really going to help. And it's going direct. I ain't taking any money whatsoever. This link goes direct at National Bank of Ukraine. It's as simple as that, guys. With that being said, let's see what you guys are saying before we get on to the final article. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. Oh, Jean Rick says, Steph, forgive me, have company, have to say later. Oh, not a problem, Jean. Thank you anyway for stopping by as always. You're so lovely. Thank you so much. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. Here we go. There we go. So, Emma Jane, she says, I had a heated discussion with a woman on Russell Brand's YouTube about lids dying, and she was saying I was lying. So sorry, about kids dying, and she was saying I was lying. So I backed it up with links. Russell Sods made her disappear. Yeah. Anyone that's saying that Putin basically is not committing war crimes are either delusional or they're lying, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. That's just the way I see it. Danny Collins says he's absolutely committing war crimes, not only by targeting civilian targets, but also the munitions he's using as too. He deserves to visit The Hague. Damn right. Damn right. I know at the moment, from what I read, keeping up to date with it all, that The Hague has actually started making moves for this to happen. So, yeah, Putin's going to be in for a freaking rude awakening, I'll tell you that now. Oh, hey up, Cindy. How's it going? Thank you very much. Susan M says, if one more person says special operation, I'm going to scream. It's war. It's not a special operation. Hell yeah. It's not a military operation. It's not a special operation. It's war. It's more than that, though. It's a freaking invasion. It's as simple as that. Phil says, hello and chat. Hello, Phil. Hey up, mate. How's it going? Nikki Hamilton says, I'm praying for the Ukrainian people. Yeah. Positive thoughts for them. REC says, and what are we going to do when China invades Taiwan and they go to war with them too and start war with them? They'll be drafting so many people, then our country cannot take war. We are all struggling bad. If China makes a move on Taiwan, which is a big, massive possibility, depending on how successful Putin is with Ukraine, you're going to find the same situation. Sanctions on China, giving Taiwan as much military support as possible, but not using any of our soldiers or any of our military within the war itself. That's what you're going to be looking at. So similar situation to what's going on with Ukraine at the moment. Jamie Payton says, look it up. US is superior than Russia on everything military, and he knows it. We can destroy the nuclear by ship and submarine, let alone and US nuclear and counter nuclear. Yeah. The only thing is that Putin at the moment has maybe, how do I put this? He's nuts. He's crazy. He's just invaded a peaceful sovereign nation to try and control it, right? I don't think he gives a shiz right now. Scaringly enough, right? US is superior in terms of their military capability against Russia. Hell freaking yeah. But you know what? If the US go against Russia, the other people that they're going against, China. I'll tell you that right now. If there is a war between US and Russia, it ain't just US and Russia, it's US, Russia, and China. Because China's going to be backing Russia every step of the way on that one. I'll tell you that right now. So it's not as simple, Jamie. Really ain't. Derek Goldie says the use of cluster bombs in residential areas is a provable war crime too. Exactly. There are videos that allegedly show cluster bombs being used. However, they are not fully confirmed that that is the case. However, they look highly sus to me. But yeah. Oh, bloody hell, Jacqueline. Just had the biggest scare of my life. How is everyone doing? Hey, I'm still alive. Pancreas kicking my ass at the moment, but apart from that, I hope you're okay, Jacqueline. Oh my goodness, I'm a bit worried for you now, lass. Oh. Jamie Payton says no one is going to war. Stop the drama. Exactly. All that the NATO countries and everyone's trying to do at the moment, as I said before, is containment. Containment in Ukraine. They're not going to do anything else but that, and providing Ukraine with the funds and the military means necessary for them to fight Russia on their own as much as possible. It's as simple as, unless Russia attacks an actual NATO country, there's no other countries are going to be like directly involved in getting their boots on the ground to fight the Russians alongside the Ukrainians. Not happening. Jade Rain, Space Cadet. Good morning, all. Hope everyone is safe. Well, hey up, Jade. Good evening from Yorkshire. How's it going? What else are you guys saying? Connie Nunya, Justin Trudeau will no doubt try to shut this fundraiser down. People aren't allowed to defend themselves under communist liberal rule. Well, he can bog off. I'm not a fan of him at the moment. What else is going on? Now, Kerry Berry's mum, hey up Kerry Berry's mum. There are generals who are giving the orders and following the orders need the pictures published and charged with war crimes. They send the pictures of the dead to the wives, mothers, and children. Yeah, so when I say Putin needs to go to the freaking Hague because he's a war criminal and needs to be charged with the war crimes, I am talking, generally speaking, not only Putin, but all the leaders. Kremlin, the generals, everyone that is involved with Putin in the invasion of Ukraine are all war criminals. I just say Putin is a war criminal. He is committing war crimes. He needs to go to the Hague as a generalization of not only just Putin, but everyone supporting Putin needs to be charged as a war criminal and go to the Hague. Absolutely. Derek is pretty much in the same kind of theme as me. A Russian coup is a realistic end to this war. And that's what I'm hoping will happen. But we'll see. What else are you guys saying? Jade Rain says boycotts, etc., only harm the citizenship of Russia who didn't want war. It doesn't help anyone and does absolutely nothing either way to Putin and his army. Not exactly. So the boycotts, what it also does is it hurts the Russian billionaires, the oligarchs that are invested in those particular firms that are boycotting Russia, right? And those oligarchs and those billionaires, they prop up Putin. They are part of the reason why Putin is in power and has been in power for all these years and decades, right? So the moment you start going after the people that are propping Putin and you go after their wallets and they start losing money, then potentially there could be an argument that could be said where those people then turn around and look at Putin not as an ally anymore, but as a hindrance to them earning more money or getting their money, getting access to their money. And I can't imagine billionaires and oligarchs being in that position and liking that, right? Instead, they'll be thinking of ways of how to get out of that situation. One of the ways, quite easily, is getting rid of Putin, pulling a coup, unseating him from power. And so these boycotts could potentially help towards such a coup. You see where I'm coming from there? So even though, yes, these boycotts and these sanctions at the moment are hurting the Russian citizenship, yes, there's an argument to be made that yes, that is happening. I agree with that. Actually, they're also hurting the people around Putin that may just get fed up with that and may start doing something about it, if you see where I'm coming from. Higgy's Moore. Hey up, Higgy's Moore. How's it going? Iggy's Moore says, replace your cola with iron brew. No, thank you. I tried it once. Not a fan. Not a fan. Let's see. What else are you guys saying? April Schreiner. Hey, girl. Hey up, April. How's it going? Susan M says, I just saw some comments to people chatting back and forth who are Russian, telling each other Swift Bank isn't completely shutting them down because there's 7 banks they're still able to use. Yeah. So the EU in the end did vote to sanction Russia's access to the Swift. I've lost my head now. To the Swift system, right? But because of some countries in the EU, which I'm ashamed to say Italy is one of them, not all of the banks were sanctioned on the SWIFT system. So I think the majority of the banks on the SWIFT system are sanctioned, are unable to have access to the SWIFT system now. But there are a couple of Russian banks that still have access to the SWIFT system. So, yeah, which, again, Italy was one of those where they argued not to have all the banks sanctioned. Why? I know why, but I'm just ashamed. I'm ashamed. What else are you guys saying? Danny Collins says they all went to The Hague from the former Yugoslavia, so by rights the same goes to Putin and his generals. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All day long. Derek says international Russian frozen funds must be seized and used to rebuild Ukraine after this war. I would imagine that's probably the plan. That will probably be the plan to do that. But we'll see. What else are you guys saying? Jade Rain, thank you for explaining the boycotts in full, lovely lass. I just instantly thought of the everyday citizenship, not the rich citizenship angle, lol. Yeah. But the thing is, as well, by and I know it sounds really awful having to say it this way, but by choking the Russian normal citizenship, maybe that might encourage more people to speak out against Putin to the point where there's too many people speaking out that Putin can't silence them all. And he gets unseated that way as well. So there are different angles to this. And again, I apologize, I'm burping. My pancreas is just freaking, yeah, all over the place right now. Apologies, guys. um, just looking at your notes. Okay. All right then. So I'm up to date with your chats. So, just to kind of remind everyone why I'm doing this stream, it's to raise awareness for this, the National Bank of Ukraine. The link is in the pinned comment right at the top of the chat. It's also in the description bar below. If you could spare a couple of quid, this goes directly to the National Bank of Ukraine to raise funds for Ukraine's armed forces. So here is an easy and legitimate way in terms of how you can help Ukrainians, the Ukraine army, kick some Russian and Putin backside, get them back over the freaking border where they belong and they can stay there. If you can't donate, absolutely fair enough. Next best thing is share this video, like this video, get it into the YouTube algorithm so we can get the word out that this link actually exists. So that people that are wondering where they can donate to help the Ukrainian army, they can find this video and they can know from there that the Ukrainian National Bank has a link and they can just follow it if that makes sense. Just giving you a little bit of an update as of today. Earlier on this morning, they announced that more than 10 billion has been raised so far through that link for the army and humanitarian aid through the National Bank of Ukraine. So there we go for that. Now let's go on to the final article. So here we go. Again, more example of Putin's evil war crimes, right? It's stomach turning, the children caught up in the Ukrainian war. Mothers and babies take shelter in hospital bunkers as Russian invasion claims lives of up to 10 children. This was towards the beginning of the war, Sunday, 27th of February. So the air raid sirens were going off. Natalia Chushuk was lucky. She only had to get herself and her daughter Mia out down to a basement that serves as a bomb shelter for the children's hospital in central Kiev. You had nurses and families of premature babies, such as her child, Mia, who was born 3 months premature. They were rushed underground, life support machines, oxygen canisters, all tubes and wires monitoring their little baby lives. Like, look, war crime. She says she's glad that her firstborn will have no memories of these traumatic days. She's stressed, of course, but I'm happy that she's super, super young and she won't remember this. It's unexpected, it's very hard to understand, and it's hard to live through. As of the day of this article, but we know there's more, up to 10 children have been killed already. We know the first one, she was Polina, who we discussed earlier on, the pink-haired lass who was in her final year of primary school. We also know that her 2 parents were killed, and later on, afterwards, her brother has passed away. There's a sister that's still hanging on to life. She's in critical care. She doesn't even know her family's gone. It's awful. Another child was killed by cluster munitions along with 2 adult civilians while the group were taking shelter at a nursery and kindergarten in the northern town of Okitra. Amnesty International said the munitions, widely banned under international law, appeared to have been fired by the Russians. So here's a little bit of evidence of an empty cluster ammunitions case in a street in Kharkiv in Ukraine. War crimes. You see, everyone is covered, everything. Look at it, one witness told the group. It kills me the fact it's a kindergarten. What's this they shoot at military objects? Where are those? They're just recklessly bombing civilian targets, including schools and hospitals. It's stomach churning to see an indiscriminate attack on a nursery and kindergarten where civilians are seeking safe haven, plain and simple. This should be investigated as a war crime, says Agnes Calamard, the Secretary General of Amnesty International. There is no possible justification for just dropping cluster munitions in populated areas, let alone near a school. This shows flagrant disregard for civilian life. Again, this is exposing Putin's war crimes. He's saying he's only targeting the military, Ukrainian military. This is not the case. He is lying to you. This is not the case. Look, a woman holding her sleeping child while sitting on the ground at Lviv Central train station. And apparently he's only just targeting the military. That's what he's saying. The blood is on Putin's hands. He needs to be drawn up. He needs to be marched all the way to the freaking Hague and answer for these war crimes. Hundreds of thousands of children are already out of school because of the war. Some may no longer have teachers or classrooms whenever hostilities finally stop. 2 teachers were killed by a missile that hit a school in eastern Golovka on Friday, and at least 7 education buildings had been shelled already, including the kindergarten, Save the Children said. Again, not just targeting military installations. The Russian army, Putin, is targeting civilians. And again, I will say this until I'm blue in the face. And I will scream it as loud as I can. He is committing war crimes. He is targeting civilians, schools, children. This is happening right now. He is lying to you by saying he's only targeting the military. That is not the freaking case. No way in hell. Save the Children's Eastern Europe director, Irina Sagorin, said schools must not become the battlefield where wars are waged and students are the casualties. The health minister, Viktor Lyashko, shared photos of 2 of the new arrivals, calling them the face of war. They will never forget and we will never forgive, he wrote. At the hospital where Tushuk is with her daughter, dozens of children in treatment after premature birth for cancer and other serious illnesses are crammed with a single carer into the basement bunker designed by Soviet engineers in the 1970s to withstand potential Cold War battles while keeping treatment going. This is where they are. This is the hospital bunker right now. This is where children, babies, 3 months premature, suffering from cancer. This is what Putin has forced these sick children to be in right now. And again, he's saying that he's only just targeting the Ukrainian military. BS, BS, BS. The walls are thick enough to keep the war out, although the shelter is extremely basic with no beds for the adults or chairs or tables. Conditions are very minimal, she says, but there's a feeling of security here. I sit on the floor, but there are no windows and the walls are thick, and we don't hear any of the explosions except the very loud ones. No one was expecting war, and so no one made preparations here. That's why we have only what we have: medications, beds for children, all the necessary stuff. She said that this is the hardest thing for me, having to do it on my own. I expect I'll be released from hospital on Tuesday, not due to health conditions of my child, but to the war. Do not be fooled. Putin is attacking civilians. He's attacking children. I've just done an over 2-hour stream right now, going through story after story after story, and it's just the tip of the freaking iceberg of children, families, civilians that have been targeted, killed by the Russian army, by Putin. Their blood is on his hands. Every single civilian that is dead, it's on his hands. He is a war criminal. He is committing war crimes as we speak right now. It is horrific. It is scary. But he is a war criminal. He is committing war crimes. And if you can, um, the link again is at the top, pinned comment at the top of the chat. It's also in the description bar below. If you can spare a couple of dollars, a couple of quid, whatever, click on the link. It takes you directly to the National Bank of Ukraine. They've opened up a special account where all donations go to here, raising funds for Ukraine's armed forces. They've opened up a special fundraising account to support the armed forces of Ukraine. As far as I'm concerned, what they need right now is money for weapons, munitions, anything they can get their hands on to fight these Russian invaders, to fight Putin and get them back over the border where they belong, to fight for their freedom. That's, in my opinion, what they need right now. So if you can spare anything whatsoever, I implore you, click on that link and donate today. It doesn't go to me, it goes directly to the National Bank of Ukraine. But that link is there. If you are unable to donate, that is absolutely fair enough. The next best thing that you can do is like and share this video. By liking and sharing this video, then this stream goes into the YouTube algorithm. And what that does is then it gives the opportunity for this stream to be seen by as many people as possible, just to get the word out that there is an easy and legitimate way of donating to the Ukrainian army. There's a lot of options at the moment out there where you can donate to the Ukrainian army, but they'll only accept cryptocurrency. The issue with that is that cryptocurrency isn't as fluent at the moment. Not a lot of people know about it. Not a lot of people understand it. Not a lot of people have cryptocurrency. So for me, it was important to try and find somewhere that A, was legitimate, but B, accepted just normal donations. As in, you put your card details in, you donate, and that's it, right? This is the place that we can do that. The official National Bank of freaking Ukraine. You can't get any more legitimate than that, really, to be fair. And so, yeah, if you can't donate, absolutely fair enough. It's so important for you just to like and share this video, get this out, spread the word out to as many people as possible that this link does exist. There is a legitimate way of them donating money that does help the Ukrainian armed forces. Very, 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 very important. And so there we go. Let me just look at a couple of your comments before I sign off for the day. Rothound says, can we report the trolls spreading propaganda to at least cut them out one by one? Does reporting in chat do anything? Not really. Just at the end of the day, there's always going to be propaganda. There's always going to be people that are going to lie. But at the end of the day, I'm just showing evidence that Putin is committing war crimes. And you can't argue with what I've just shown. It's as simple as that. Just don't let them get to you. Don't let them get to you, all right? Jamie says a lot of trolls are bots. That's correct. Mama CEO, hey up, Mama CEO. She says, thanks for covering this. This war, this invasion is pure evil and Putin needs to be put to an end. If I could, I would be right there with the Ukraine people. Yeah, he definitely needs to be put to an end. Let's see. Susan M says, what will happen to American prisoners that were already imprisoned before the war? I went to school with Paul Whelan. I really don't think he's a spy. Yeah. Don't know. Russia, I can imagine. They will use the American prisoners as bargaining chips to try and how do I put this? Try and lessen sanctions. They might be trying to do that. So using the American prisoners as wars as bargaining chips to try and reduce or lessen the sanctions that have been placed onto them at the moment. I can imagine them doing something like that. Let's put it that way. Derek says, my heart bleeds for the children and the elderly. This is shameful and it's on Putin. Damn right. Um, see what else you guys saying. Karen Broderick says, it'll be a catastrophe if the Russians get hold of Zelensky. He is a hero, a true leader. If he gets assassinated, then I dread to think what repercussions there will be. Yeah. And reports have already said there have been, like, what, 4 attempts already or something along those lines? So, yeah. Which is way, way beyond the freaking line when it comes to war. Don't do that. Let me just scroll a little bit more further down now. Oh, Alexandra, hey up, lass. No, of course you had to disappear for a while, lass. Just hope you're all right. You're staying safe and whatnot. Just make sure you're cool, all right. Oh, Donna's donated. Thank you, Donna. She says, I've donated but still feel powerless to help the families, children, and communities. We do what we can. No matter what we do, we're always going to feel an element of feeling powerless, aren't we, really? I'm doing what I can and I still feel it's not enough, but it's everything that I can do at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And it's, it's weird, isn't it? Right? Feeling like that. But no, thank you so much for donating. That's going to help. Simple as that. And if anyone can't donate, that's absolutely fine. Again, I implore you, like and share this video, get it into the YouTube algorithm so more we can raise the awareness of this link so more people know about it and where they can donate their money to if they want to help the Ukrainian army directly. Okay, so Alexandra, I just wanted to give you a little update from Poland. Polish community is hugely unified, helping our brothers and sisters for Ukraine. Perfect. I was helping the Ecuadorians. I think you're trying to say the Ukrainians there to escape to Poland this week. Yeah. Yeah. You're a hero, lass. You're a freaking hero. And I'm honoured to know you. Really, really am. Amber Collins said, we had a peaceful protest here in San Antonio, Texas yesterday, and someone tried boycotting it. It was horrible. What the deuce? Why? Ah, that's nuts. That's nuts. Alexandra also says most of them are sound and safe. So now back to this reality we have here. Every Ukrainian that crossed to Poland is safe and welcome. Yeah. Poland has been a freaking like MVP of all of this. They've like accepted like over 1 million refugees from Ukraine already and still counting. And UK have only accepted 50. We should hang our heads in shame for that. Rothound, wow. What about that Russian guy you interviewed on Popcorn Planet? I wonder if he's in danger for speaking out also. Ilya, no, he's okay. Don't worry about that. Ilya's fine. Ilya's fine. Susan M says the munitions he's using, the thermobaric, have been banned by the Geneva Convention and he's using them. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's using weapons that are war crimes as well. Not only the cluster bombs that we discussed earlier on, but the thermobaric ones as well. Yeah. Yeah. Dude has to answer to many war crimes, many, many, many of them. Alexandra also says, if you want to see real, no propaganda pictures with updates of how the Ukrainians are welcomed, here you can follow an Instagram account. Ooh. Hang on a minute. Let me have a look at this. Instagram. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is the Instagram account that Alexandra's talking about. I believe. I think. Yeah. Gotta be that one. Got a blue tick on it. Nice. Right. Alexandra did mean Ecuadorians. I apologize. Sorry about that, hon. So she says, I'm half Ecuadorian, and since we don't have an embassy here, I was helping them go back to Ecuador. Okay. So she was helping the Ecuadorians flee from the Ukraine. Nice one, lass. You're still a freaking hero. Wow. Yeah, so Ansi asked about this, thermobaric bombs. All I'm going to say is, because I'm going to be finishing shortly, I need to take some more meds. Google it. Google it and see thermobaric bombs, why they are banned by the Geneva Convention. You'll find out pretty quickly what all that's about. Just have a strong stomach, that's all I'm saying. Oh, lass. Alexandra says, thank you for doing this stream. What Ukrainians need now to be able to win is financial support and ammunition. Already they received Swiss missiles. Yeah, they're receiving a lot of military goods at the moment from different countries, but where we can try and support and donate money to the army, Ukrainian army, that can help as well. And again, if you guys can't donate, like, share this stream, get it into YouTube algorithm so we can spread the word that this link does exist for people to donate money to directly help the Ukrainian army if that's what they want to do. Donna says, if he's committing war crimes, why is he not being dealt with? The Hague, by all accounts, has set up a special prosecutor for it at the moment, as we speak. The issue is that if they try and take out Putin now, it can complicate the war and it can complicate matters. It has to be that he loses the war ends, and that's when they take Putin out. That's the most basic kind of explanation I can give to you without having to go into the details. There's people turn around and say, why don't we just assassinate Putin? Why don't we just take him out, just put one between his eyes and have it done with? The issue is, it's not that simple, and there's international law that actually forbids taking down any heads of state like that. So we've got to wait. It's frustrating, but that's kind of like the state of play there for the international community at the moment of having to deal with him, if that makes sense, Donna. Let's see. Yeah, Alexandra said, yeah, it's that one. So if we go back here, yeah, it is that one. You can check their stories on Wednesday in front of the Russian embassy in Warsaw as part of the protest. The Russians were burning their passports. Respect to the Russians for doing that. Because again, guys, as I said, right, like all the way through at points, the hatred needs to be directed towards Putin and the Kremlin, his government. The Russian people, no. Russian people actually are speaking out against him. The only thing is they're getting punished for it. And they're getting like 10 years in jail or whatnot and beaten and like thrown down a dark hole, forgotten, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? So the Russian people aren't to be blamed here. It's Putin. He's a war criminal. He's committing war crimes. He's the government. They're the people. They're the people we need to be angry at. Jamie says Putin's ego is being affected by sanctions and becoming war criminal. It's a psychological game against a narcissistic monster. Let the professionals deal with what de-escalates. That's what they do. Exactly. Yes. I did 3 years on my degree of conflict resolution, so I understand that in detail. Alexandra says, again, then everyone that lives in Poland is helping a lot now. There are huge queues with people bringing food supplies, people opening their houses and welcoming Ukrainians. Beautiful to see. I know that a lot of people, like in our community, we're kind of doing like fundraising drives for like clothes and supplies and stuff like that to drive over and whatnot. So it's happening everywhere. It's wonderful to see. Exactly, Amber Collin. The Russian people are against the war, and the ones that aren't, it's because they're believing in the propaganda, and it's not necessarily their fault, if that makes sense, because Putin's lying to them. So you got to think of it that way. Amber says, even here in San Antonio, the Russians here are standing with Ukraine. Yeah. Again, it's not the Russian people that we need to be angry at. It's Putin and the Kremlin. They're the bad guys. They're the war criminals, right? Ansi says assassination would set a precedent. It won't happen. Exactly. It just won't happen. It's just not a thing that happens. It's an unwritten rule. It's a written rule technically, but you just don't happen. Even though those mofos at the moment are trying to assassinate Zelensky. Like, where's the freaking yeah, it's a mess. Alexandra's also saying there's also huge queues of cars with Polish civilians going to the border with supplies and help bringing the people. Polish mothers were leaving baby stalls on the train stations for Ukrainian mums. Oh. The generosity and kindness of Poland at the moment, definitely a beacon for everyone to look at and follow. Yeah, Facebook have banned Russia, basically. They've told Russia to bog off, which is good. I should do like a video of different things that have like Russia cancelled. I don't know. Russia's been cancelled and be like, I don't know. Apple's cancelled them, so they can't get any music anymore. Netflix cancelled them, so they can't get any streaming movies anymore. Batman, they can't see the latest. Yeah. I won't do it. But it's a funny way of looking at it, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. Like, Russia as a country is effectively being cancelled at the moment. And I suppose I don't support cancel culture, don't get me wrong. However, I would like to say that this will probably be the exception to the freaking rule. There's always one, isn't there? Russia being cancelled, definitely an exception to the rule there. But yeah. Yeah, TikTok's banned them. Live streaming, yeah. My opinion won't be popular, but I think he'll be tried at The Hague. He'll use Bush's war in Iraq as a defense. It just won't happen. I hope I'm wrong, though. I think you are. The Hague has already started with a special prosecutor to start proceedings against Putin. So it's happening as we speak. Make no bones about it. But the thing is, The Hague will look at this differently because Ukraine never attacked Russia. However, what happened in 2014? Russia annexed Crimea. What happened in the last couple of years? Russia effectively annexed the Donetsk region towards the eastern border of Russia. So over the years, there's been a systematic invasion, albeit a very, very small one, I suppose, in comparison to what's going on now, of Ukraine. So when you look at the build-up to how Russia has been with Ukraine and you compare that to the Bush situation, it is different. And even though Putin may argue that, I think the Hague will turn around and say, bog off, dude. You're nuts. Alexandra says, Putin has brainwashed Russians for years and he's an ex-KGB spy, so he's a charismatic, sneaky psychopath. Agreed. Exactly. There's no power, no freedom in Russia. Yeah, it's right. PayPal has blocked Russia. Yeah, Russia's getting cancelled left and right. Alexandra, Russia's not being cancelled, it's being sanctioned, winky face. Yeah, I know it's sanctions, but I'm just it's kind of funny to think that a whole country, in effect, given the whole culture that we're in at the moment, is effectively being quote unquote cancelled, right? If you see where I'm coming from. I know it's sanctions, don't get me wrong, but yeah, the Russia's effectively being cancelled off of the face of the earth right now. But there we go. With that being said, guys, I'm gonna go do one. I'm gonna go to bed, take my meds, go to bed. If you haven't done so already, please, please, please make sure that you like and you share this video, get it out to YouTube algorithm, spread the word that this exists. There is a way that people can donate to the Ukrainian army to help them, and it's via the National Bank of Ukraine, the link of which will be either in the pinned comment right at the top of the chat or in the description down below. If you want to donate and help the Ukrainian army, this is one legit way of doing so. If you're unable to donate, then yeah, make sure you like and share this video, get the word out there that this link exists. So for people that do want to donate to the Ukrainian army but they just don't know how to, here's an easy way for them to do it, if that makes sense. Also, as well, if you haven't done so already, even though it's not really been much of a focus for today, but just to be a little bit of a professional-ish YouTube of the world, make sure if you haven't done so, subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe. That nice little red subscribe button, you know, giving you a nice friendly wink. You know, give it a tickle for me, will you? Do me a favor, smash it. Join our tribe. Make sure you turn all your notification bells to on so you're notified every single time I basically upload a video or go live like today. Also, as well, just as a backup, if you've got Twitter or Instagram, make sure that you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd, either on Twitter or Instagram, because sometimes YouTube doesn't notify you anyway. So as long as you're following me either on Twitter or Instagram, you'll definitely know at that point whenever I upload a video or go live like today. With that being said, given the situation, Kira, I've just seen your message. Please check the member list. I may have missed it, but I think you're missing Alicia Smith. She's my sister. Love you. Get some rest. Yeah, I've not felt well enough today to be able to update the list that's scrolling across my head. But I will do. So don't worry about that, Kira. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to end the stream here. Usually I do a big crazy dance to celebrate those that have been kind of generous enough to donate to the channel. I won't be doing that today. Just, you know, given the topic, I kind of feel like it's a little bit not appropriate to do. Also, as well, my pancreas is kicking my ass, so I'm in a little bit of pain at the moment. But with that being said, I really appreciate every single one of you for joining me for today's really, really important stream, for liking, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz. And until the next time, you guys, make sure that you keep an eye out for the Daily Nerds. Before I forget, my head's all over the place. Make sure you keep an eye out for the Daily Nerds. There will be a new one that's released tomorrow and every single day. Make sure when they come out, you watch them, give them some love and all that lot. And now I will end this by saying, until the next time, you guys, laters.